Welcome to Skytech-Lens. Let's talk about tariffs, the economic equivalent of punching yourself in the face, all while insisting it's for your own good. Tariffs are one of those ideas that sound brilliant in a political speech, but get a lot messier in the real world. They're often sold as a quick fix for complex problems, a way to show strength and protect jobs, but the reality is far more complicated. Politicians love to talk tough on trade, promising to stand up to foreign competitors and bring jobs back home. It's a message that plays well to the crowd, especially in places hit hard by factory closures and job losses. In theory, tariffs are simple. Slap a tax on imports to make them pricier, supposedly protecting domestic industries. The logic goes, if foreign goods cost more, people will buy American instead, and local factories will thrive. The Trump administration thought this would revive American manufacturing overnight. The idea was to use tariffs as a lever, forcing other countries to play fair and giving US companies a fighting chance. But modern manufacturing is a global puzzle. Cars are assembled from parts sourced worldwide. Even the most American-made vehicles rely on components from dozens of countries, each piece traveling thousands of miles before reaching the assembly line. So when you tax steel and aluminum, you're not just hitting foreign cars, you're taxing the raw materials American companies need. Suddenly the cost of making everything from cars to soda cans goes up, and those costs get passed on to consumers. It's like paying a patriotism tax on every ingredient in your apple pie. You want to support local bakers, but now the flour, sugar, and apples all cost more, and the pie itself is out of reach for many families. The result? A policy meant to protect American industry ends up hurting it instead. Factories that were already struggling now face even higher costs, and some are forced to close their doors for good. Ford, for example, now pays more for the very materials it needs, making its products more expensive and less competitive. The company has to make tough choices, raise prices, cut jobs, or both, just to stay afloat. Instead of leveling the playing field, tariffs have flooded it and charged the home team for the damage. The intended advantage turns into a costly disadvantage, with American businesses and workers left to clean up the mess. This is how a well-intentioned policy unravels the threads of a modern economy, leaving everyone paying the price. In the end, tariffs rarely deliver the simple solutions they promise. Instead, they create a web of unintended consequences that touch every part of our lives, from the factory floor to the family dinner table. Enter the Ford F-Series pickup, the best-selling vehicle in America, a symbol of reliability and ruggedness that's been a staple on American roads for decades. For generations, the F-Series has been the go-to choice for everyone from construction workers to families, earning its reputation as the backbone of the nation's automotive industry. But today, it's not just a bestseller, it's also the poster child for the unintended consequences of trade policy and tariff fallout. Thanks to a wave of new tariffs, Ford has quietly added about $1,000 to the cost of every F-150, making it harder for everyday Americans to afford the truck they've trusted for years. Why the sudden price hike? It all starts with the raw materials. Steel and aluminum tariffs have made the very skeleton of the truck more expensive, adding hundreds of dollars to the cost before a single wheel is even attached. These metals are the foundation of every F-150, and when their prices go up, so does the price of the truck. And it doesn't stop there. Electronics, everything from sensors to wiring harnesses, are also hit. A 20% tariff on Chinese-made components means even the smallest parts now come with a hefty surcharge, pushing the price tag even higher. Ford tried to adapt by shifting to new suppliers, but moving a global supply chain is a massive, complex undertaking. It's not as simple as picking a new grocery store. It involves renegotiating contracts, retooling factories, and sometimes even redesigning parts to fit new components. The result? The F-Series, once Ford's unstoppable profit engine, is now weighed down by government-mandated costs that eat into margins and threaten its affordability for loyal customers. When you add it all up, the total tariff impact per truck is closer to $1,800, a direct hit to the American workhorse that millions depend on for their livelihoods. Every new F-Series now rolls off the line carrying a backpack full of extra costs, invisible to the eye but painfully real at the checkout counter. This isn't a tax on luxury imports or foreign sports cars. It's a penalty on the backbone of American industry, affecting workers, small businesses, and families across the country. The policy that was supposed to protect American jobs and manufacturing has, in reality, spectacularly backfired, hurting the very people it aimed to help. Today, the F-Series stands as a rolling testament to that failure. a reminder that even America's favorite truck isn't immune to the ripple effects of global trade wars. That $1,000 tariff cost isn't just one tax. It's the tip of a much larger iceberg that most people never see. Instead, it's a web of hidden expenses, each thread connecting to another, quietly driving up the price of every truck that rolls off the lot. First, there's the direct customs duty on raw materials like steel and aluminum, essential building blocks for every vehicle Ford makes. These tariffs hit at the very start of the supply chain, raising the baseline cost of production before a single part is even assembled. Then, insurance premiums rise because the value of those materials jumps. Insurers see more risk, so they charge more to cover shipments and inventory, adding another layer of cost that's easy to overlook but impossible to avoid. Banks get involved too, charging higher commissions for guaranteeing tariff payments. These financial institutions act as middlemen, and their fees, though small individually, pile up quickly across thousands of transactions. Each small fee, each extra charge adds up, creating a feedback loop of financial pain that ripples through the entire company. What starts as a single tariff multiplies into dozens of new expenses. Accounting becomes a nightmare as fluctuating material costs wreak havoc on balance sheets. Forecasting becomes guesswork, and every department scrambles to keep up with the shifting numbers. The real kicker? Ford can't just pass on the full cost to customers immediately. Raising prices too fast risks losing buyers to competitors, so the company is forced to absorb much of the impact, at least at first. They have to absorb it, straining cash flow and effectively lending the government money interest-free. This puts pressure on every part of the business, from payroll to research and development. It's a death by 1,000 cuts, each one making it harder for Ford to stay competitive, innovate, and invest in the future. Tariffs don't just tax imports, they tax every step of the process, from the moment raw materials enter the country to the final sale on the showroom floor. The result is a cascade of costs that hit American companies hardest, threatening jobs, slowing growth, and making it even tougher for U.S. manufacturers to compete on the global stage. Before tariffs, Ford was thriving, posting billion-dollar profits and healthy margins. The F-Series was the crown jewel, fueling growth and innovation. Fast forward a year, tariffs have cost Ford $3 billion, turning profits into losses. In just 12 months, Ford went from a $1.8 billion profit to a $36 million loss, even as sales rose. Operating margins have collapsed, with tariffs responsible for most of the decline. Investors panicked, shares tumbled, and Ford's credit rating outlook turned negative. Cash flow swung from positive to a staggering negative $850 million. Inventory is piling up, tying up billions in capital. Every financial indicator is flashing red. Tariffs have poured sand into Ford's profit engine, grinding it to a halt. The real tragedy? Tariffs are forcing Ford to sacrifice its future. Ambitious plans for electric vehicles and next-gen batteries are on the chopping block. Ford slashed its 2025 investment in electric and digital infrastructure by $3.6 billion. Key projects like the F-Series Super Duty refresh are delayed. Even green bond funding for new battery plants is on hold. The Mustang Mach-E, Ford's answer to Tesla, is now unprofitable thanks to a 20% tariff on its Chinese battery. The car also lost its EV tax credit, adding $1,800 to the sticker price. Ford's long-term solution, building batteries in America, is years away. For now, the company is stuck, penalized for importing the very parts needed for EVs. The tariffs, meant to secure America's present, are mortgaging its future. Ford is ceding ground to global competitors. It's a spectacular own goal. The pain isn't just on spreadsheets, it's hitting workers hard. At Ford's Kansas City plant, overtime is slashed and work weeks are shorter. For many, that's a real pay cut, no matter what the company calls it. Suppliers are hurting too. Foundries are suspending lines, and component makers are laying off hundreds. These aren't just numbers, they're families losing income. Tariffs, sold as job protection, are destroying jobs up and down the supply chain. The cycle is vicious. Higher costs lead to less production, which leads to layoffs and less money in local economies. The very communities tariffs were meant to help are now bearing the brunt. It's a slow-motion economic disaster, one temporary leave at a time. All these costs end up in one place, the consumer's lap. The dream of an affordable American-made truck is fading as prices soar. The median price for a Ford F-Series is now $61,000, luxury car territory. With auto loan rates at 11.4%, monthly payments are out of reach for many. Loan approvals are down, and people are being priced out of the market. Tariffs also make repairs pricier. Replacement parts like brake calipers have jumped in cost. Every repair, every part, every insurance premium is higher. It's a domino effect. Buying, financing, repairing, and insuring a car all cost more. The American consumer is squeezed from every angle, all thanks to a policy that was supposed to help. The damage goes far beyond Ford or a single truck. Tariffs are distorting the entire US auto market, stifling innovation and investment. Companies now spend more time dodging tariffs than building better cars. Ford reroutes parts through extra ports just to meet arbitrary rules, adding cost, not value. Investors are spooked, making it harder for automakers to fund new technology. The result? Fewer innovations, less competitive products, and a US industry falling behind. Tariffs have strained relationships, eroded trust, and created a cloud of uncertainty. The policy has failed, destabilizing one of America's most important industries. So where does this leave us? At a crossroads, staring at the wreckage of a failed policy. If tariffs stay, Ford and the US auto industry face a bleak future, falling profits, job cuts, and higher prices. The dream of bringing manufacturing back will die, killed by the very policy meant to save it. Car ownership will become a luxury, not a staple. The only way forward is to reverse course and embrace global cooperation. Until then, the industry is driving blindfolded toward a cliff. Everyone sees the danger, except those at the wheel. It's not a shortcut to greatness, it's a dead end. Thanks for watching a video and subscribe the channel now. Thanks.